Previously on the Short Horror Beercast.
Today we're covering the events at Poroth Farm by T.E.D. Klein. A story that is going to be primarily told through journal entries. What were you able to pair with that?
Shorts Brewing. It's called Psychedelic Catgrass. How about you? How'd you do?
This is Finback Brewery, and they have a beer called Cats Are People Too.
Oh.
So we open the story with a first-person statement by our narrator. His name is Jeremy, after the prophet Jeremiah. He's holed up in a hot hotel room in Flemington, New Jersey. He's trying to write an affidavit. He looks out at the street, and he sees a boy wearing red spectacles. He can't exactly see what the kid is staring at, but he knows he's staring at him. He needed a place to spend the summer, a place where he could do a great deal of reading without any distraction. So he found Poroth Farm in a newspaper advertisement stating that Sar Poroth and his wife Deborah were looking for a tenant to rent a building on their property. The Poroths are a younger couple. I think they were in their 30s. The Poroths belonged to a Mennonite sect somewhat related to the Amish. It was this sect that made up the majority of the community known as Gilead. Sort of modern in this traditionally strict community. Plus, they had 7 cats.
Hey.
Yeah, I wonder if they figure prominently in the story, being that we both chose cat-themed beers. Just before dinner, he's making his way to the farmhouse when he's seized by a sudden impulse. He climbs a tree. He stands on a branch in the night, and he begins making these weird gestures and faces. His behavior is, the only word I can come up with is propitiatory. He's worshiping nature. Whatever forces are out there, whatever deities might be floating around, he's paying obeisance to them. Something odd happens. He breaks off writing. He says, all of a sudden, the crickets, which have been a soothing sound all along, all stopped at once. They just skipped a beat, and then they started back up again. And for a few moments, it's like they were out of sync with each other. They were out of rhythm. The incident they come up with is something that happened to Sar. He said he came upon the usual assortment of dead animal gifts that the cats bring to them, but there was one that looked a little different than all the rest. It looked like a large shrew, only its mouth was askew, nearly vertical instead of horizontal. When he went to pick it up, it bit him on the thumb. It wasn't dead after all. He said it was only playing dead. The thing went scurrying off into the grass, and that was that. The only cat that doesn't have a multitude of names is Bawada. He sees Bawada chasing something, but he can't quite make out what it is. Now he comes across Bawada. She's not looking good. She's pretty dead. She looks pretty stiff, which is odd because he only saw her a few hours before. She's got a nasty gaping wound on her side. The wound looks like it was made from the inside. They sit down to dinner, and the cats join them, and suddenly they hear a scratching noise, and then the door swings open a crack, and Bawada comes sauntering in. But she's not right. She's got a lumbering gait, and what's more, that gaping wound is now just a hairless red bump on her skin. Bawada is sitting on the floor, but she's staring at Jeremy. She's not blinking, just staring. And he says, "Hey, Sar, look at Bawada. That damn cat's not blinking." And right when he says that, the cat blinks heavily. You can see Ninny and Felix, they're 2 of the kittens. Bawada comes out. She marches up to them and snarls, and the 2 kittens bolt. He tells the Poroths about it, and they say, yeah, Bawada's always been nasty to the kittens. Jeremy says, I don't know, you think maybe she's gotten worse? And Deborah says, yeah, she has. She's really vicious to the other cats now. Sar put her into the bathroom. In doing so, he endured a few bites and scratches, but whatever. He said they've been praying over the cat because the devil's gotten into her. At 2 a.m., Sar wakes up Jeremy. He explains that Bawada attacked Butch and Minnie and killed them both, and then she just took off, so he's going to need help finding her. Jeremy returns to his rooms, and he finds everything is the way it should be, except for the bed, which is torn to tatters. Sar gives him his axe to sleep with. Jeremy awakens with Sar's axe cradled in his arms. What awakened him was the fact that he had trouble breathing, the old cat allergies, and before he can make the connection, he notices that in the center of one of the window screens is a huge slash.
It's a little more than a cat now.
That was a hell of a montage.
It's a good one.
If you didn't listen to the last episode, this is Paul talking. And who's the other guy on the other end of the mic over there?
It's still Alec.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool. I'm glad because then I would have to recap for a new guy. So
yeah, it was sketchy there for a minute, but it's still me.
Okay, good. All right, so we're continuing here with the events at Poroth Farm. This is the events at Poroth Farm Part 2. As we heard, we were in the middle of Jeremy's journal. We're going to continue, but in a second, we're going to continue because right now we have to talk about the beer that we got for this story because we had gotten cat beers the last time. Yeah. Cat-themed beers, I should say, not actual cat beer, but cat-themed beers.
I don't think I'd want a cat beer.
I don't think I want one either. I've probably made one in the past unwittingly. There's probably cat hair in there. There's actually, do you know that there's a guy, Rogue Brewing, Rogue Brewing out of Oregon?
I do.
The old brewmeister or brewmaster, whatever they call him. Mm-hmm. He actually trimmed part of his beard and threw it into the boiling liquor. Yeah, no, he did. He'd been working with this stuff for so long that there was actually like yeast in his beard. So he actually fermented the beer with his beard hairs.
Okay, that's disgusting. That's so awful. Are you putting me on, or is that
no?
Real?
Swear to God, no. This is a true thing, and I'm pretty sure it was Rogue. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was Rogue. There was another one. Do you know? So there's a brewery out of Scotland originally. It's called Brewdog. Mm-hmm. They make some pretty good beers, but they used to have a cable show. And it was just these two guys that ran the company, and they would like brew a specific beer to whatever region they were visiting. So, for instance, they were visiting San Francisco, and like San Francisco's famous for its fog or something. So they erected some contraption to capture the fog and distill it into water, and then use that water to brew with. So it's like you're drinking a little bit of San Francisco here. They visited Jim Cook, who was the CEO of Sam Adams at the time. He was the guy that like started Sam Adams, and
I remember the ads with him in them.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. So, and he had, apparently this was his idea for the three of them to take a bath in beer, in like beer before it was fermented. So like the natural yeast on their bodies would actually ferment the beer. So they're like sitting in it like it's a fucking hot tub, these three guys. Yeah. And they just let that, I mean, cause it is like yeast will eat all the bacteria and they piss alcohol. So it's like, basically it's sterilizing itself, I guess. All
right. I guess. Look, to me, it sounds like someone's sampling too much of their own product with these ideas. They're gross. I don't want to know any of that if I'm ever going to drink that shit.
Right.
But that Rogue story is gross. Just throwing your beard hair in there like, this is fine.
And he's like, I'm just picturing a big burly dude. Just, I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing it.
It's Mr. DeFazio from Laverne and Shirley. That's right. That's what I'm picturing.
That's right. Phil Foster. That was his name. Believe it or not, I know that. Yeah.
His name was Foster?
Yep. Phil Foster.
I always pictured him as the most Italian guy on the planet.
Maybe it was like Fosterino originally.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Gross.
So on that note, what do you have to go this episode with the events of Poroth Farm?
This time I did not go with the cat angle.
Okay.
Basically because I couldn't really find another.
Yeah.
But I decided to head for the mountains.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I chose Bush Light.
Oh.
Now I know. But the reason is because they have a promotional thing happening with something called Farm Rescue.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Which is actually a pretty cool organization. I'm going to try and find where my notes are here. So. Farm Rescue, their mission is to help family farms and ranches bridge crises so they have an opportunity to continue viable operations.
Great. That's awesome.
Farm Rescue provides planting, haying, harvesting, commodity hauling, and livestock feeding assistance to farm and ranch families that have experienced a major injury, illness, or natural disaster.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, that's this whole thing going on with Bush Light.
That's great.
This Farm Rescue packaging. So, I just literally saw the word farm and went, okay.
Yep.
That's it.
That's awesome.
The artwork on the can is pretty steeped in American patriotic schmaltz. There's a combine out in the fields.
Yeah. Is there any other kind, by the way?
Well, there can be, but not for them.
Yeah, true.
There's stalks of corn.
Okay.
A barn, some cows, and there's a majestic bald eagle soaring across an aluminum sky.
Please tell me he's got a Stein in his claws.
No, but it's just the funniest picture of an eagle. It's the most hilariously Murica thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, right, of course. Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, what is bush life? 4.1.
Okay.
So I don't even know why bother.
No, but that's, I think we were saying at one point the longer the story, a low ABV is probably better. If you're going to be going through a story like this, you probably want to stay awake for it.
That's fair enough.
Right.
But on any other day, there is no reason on God's green earth that I would ever drink a Busch Light. I just don't care for it at all.
No, I hear you. But hey.
The only thing I like about Busch is the old TV ad with Hoyt Axton.
Oh, man, I don't even remember that.
Hoyt Axton had a great big mountain-like voice, this amazing voice.
Yeah.
And it was just him going, Busch, like really loud. And it showed like the can opening and the spray goes all over, and then they show a deer in the wilderness and then an eagle soaring by, and it's just like head to the mountains.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious. I mean, they were my favorite as a kid. I'm like, I want to head to the mountains.
Right. Oh, I'm all right. I'm looking at a picture of him. Yes, I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember those commercials.
Oh man, when you see it, you might go, "Holy crap! I do remember this."
Yeah, I probably will when I see it.
It's one of those things. It was on all the time.
Listen, I remembered Phil Foster. I can remember a Busch commercial.
Yeah, I always remembered Hoyt Axton from those ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was also a country singer, but I don't know anything about that.
I think he was. Yeah, because that's. I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh yeah, I think I know this guy.
He sounds like he looks. It's amazing. Yeah, he's great.
I love it.
He was great. But anyway, yeah, that's what I did.
Nice.
That was my reasoning.
Oh, cool. All right, so you and I both were thinking alike here. Because I have a similar thing. I didn't go for anything cat related, but I did go to the Long Island Farm Brewery. For the most part, they source all their ingredients locally, and I think there's one or two beers that they have that is actually all Long Island grown ingredients that they put in the beer, so it's cool.
That's cool.
Microbrewery, they don't really distribute anywhere, that you just have to go to the brewery to actually get their stuff, but they offer cans and stuff like that, so I picked up a can of Field Haze.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Jeremy could vibe with Field Haze, right?
Definitely could.
He was feeling pretty hazy in the fields there, so I think that works.
Well,
so
it's a much better match than mine. That's very good, actually.
No, we both, like I said, we both went kind of abstract and thematic with the concept.
I went with the word farm. Just that. That's the only thing that matches this. It's not an Amish farm or a Mennonite farm. It's
well, let's put it this way. I did too, because I've been wanting to get something from the Long Island Farm Brewery. They actually, when we did Free Dirt, before we did that, I saw that they had a beer called Night Harvest, and I was like, oh, I gotta get it. And I went there and they didn't have it. They were done brewing it. Yeah, so I've been waiting to use something from Long Island Farm Brewery, and then this time around I was like, oh yeah, Long Island Farm Brewery. Let me just see what they have. I'm like, Field Haze. That might work. Like, so I did go with farm as well. just for
this is the things we're left with these days. I mean, you people listening have to understand this is difficult. This is very difficult to match this appropriately.
I think for our next season, we might just have to just grab shit and just say this goes, and it doesn't matter what it is.
You know why it goes so well? Because I like this beer.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, ain't that what it's all about anyway,
Kinda, yeah. Yeah. For the show, I am the guy who sacrifices and drinks Busch Light. For you people. I did it all for you.
For the Beer Cast family.
It's my brother's favorite beer too, which cracks me up.
Oh, that's cool.
It's so bad.
My brother used to drink Molson Golden. Yeah.
Yeah. You get a lot of those same Canadian beers being, fairly close to Canada as well.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Although you're on the other side of New York, but
yeah, right. But
still,
still though, I remember though Molson was like, that was like, oh my God, it's a special occasion. I got Molson Golden. It's like, that was like high class beer back in the day before the craft beer revolution.
Yeah. There was for the people from Michigan, a little tidbit here that a lot of people probably already know. I don't know. I only found this out pretty recent, but Bell's Brewing here started with a beer called Solson.
Oh, okay.
Which is now called Oberon.
Oh, right.
Which is very popular.
Okay. I didn't realize Bell's was from Michigan. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it started in Kalamazoo. I don't know if they're still based there, but...
I got a gal there.
You what?
I got a gal. Sorry, that was dumb.
No, I wasn't expecting a 95-year-old's reference. Musical reference.
Come on, don't test me. That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, so they had this beer called Solson, and then everyone loved it because it was like really the only craft beer around here. It was like the first one really to do it. Okay, cool. That's pretty awesome. It was the biggest one anyway. Yeah, no, I had no idea. And then they got sued by Molson because it was too similar. Right, of course. Molson's like, you can't do that. And they're like, what? So they went to Oberon instead. Okay. Thank you for the story. They went for Mudweiser next. Yeah. Mudweiser is pretty appropriate. Pudweiser. Oh, shit. Anyway, sorry. Already wasting time. I'm sorry. Yes, right. So anyway, let me correct myself and add some stuff here to what I just said, because this beer, Field Haze, by the way, the logo for it is Barn and Raised. Okay. And the Long Island Farm Brewery is actually in Manorville, New York, which is bordering on the town of Wading River. I thought it was Wading River. It's actually Manorville. And it's a hazy IPA at 6% ABV. Okay. And for the notes, it says unwind on the farm with this smooth and juicy IPA. So that even they were just like, I don't know what to put for notes. Just unwind with it. That's all. Yeah. So good stuff, though. Yeah. I'm Googling to make sure where Bell's is now. Okay. Sorry, I have to know. That's okay. Am I 21? Yes, I am. Oh, Hop Slam is out again. Hop Slam. It's a seasonal beer. Okay. Quite possibly the best beer they make. Ooh, okay. I love their Two-Hearted IPA. I drank so much of that now it tastes like a bowl of potpourri to me. Okay. And I got to be out of my mind shitting on Bell's because they're the standard here. But yeah, okay. I just had too much of it. The Hop Slam Ale is, it's amazing. Okay. I learned of it last year, and I'm a huge fan. Now, It sounds like it's a big hoppy, bitter. Right, yeah. It's not. It's so nice. It's really good. And they have a tropical Hop Slam I see now, too. Oh, okay. Tropical Hop Slam. They have Lady Hop Slam, Tartar Control Hop Slam. Tartar Control. That's from The Simpsons. I forgot about that. Yeah. That's when they went to the Duff Brewery. Tartar Control is good. Yeah. I still had that Lady Duff. Tartar Control Duff. Good shit. Anyway. All right. So on that note, I'm going to say cheers. I'm back. Okay, you do your thing, Paul. Well, I'm so sorry. Now that you're back, let's say cheers. Cheers to you. Oh, cheers. Let's get into it again. But the cat came back. She wouldn't stay away. She was sitting on the porch the very next day. The cat came back. So we're going to continue with the journal entry for July 15th. It's Jeremy's birthday today, and therefore it is T.E.D. Klein's birthday as well. Jeremy is turning 30, and it's also St. Swithin's Day. Yeah. He recalls the legend about St. Swithin's Day that says that whatever the weather is on St. Swithin's Day, that's actually a predictor for the weather for the next 40 days. And that's not good, being that the weather on this day is like really nasty as hell. Right. And as we're recording this, St. Swithin's Day wasn't too long ago. As I recall, it was pretty hazy and disgusting out. It was like really hot and humid and gross. So it's going to be like that at least for another 30 days or so. It's like that here right now. It's thunderstorming.
Which is good for you. You love that shit.
Well, I do when I'm not recording a podcast where the power could go out.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That would suck.
All right. So, yeah. So that's the thing with St. Swithin's Day. It's the, whatever the weather is, it's going to be that way for the next 40 days. Not good. It's really nasty. It's raining there. It's all that stuff. It's like the way it is with, right where you are. So Jeremy reads The Lost Traveler by Riven Todd. Ruthven. It's pronounced Riven. Riven Todd. And that's about a guy who was caught in a wartime bomb explosion and finds himself trying to navigate a strange world where the laws of physics don't apply. Okay, so remember in the last episode we said that T.E.D. Klein is really cool with his literary allusions. Whatever Jeremy's reading sort of mirrors what he's going through. He also reads an essay by Lafcadio Hearn, and that's called Gaki, Gaki, and it's about a Japanese belief that insects are really demons or the ghosts of evil men.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, he is like the center of bug hell. There's spiders and there's moths and crickets and every other form of pestilence just basically besieging him at night. He's got these things banging into his windows all night.
I think I want to read that.
Yeah, well, okay, so I found it and I started reading it. And just to get a feel of what it was all about. And it was a really cool phrase that came upon: the world of hungry ghosts. That's where these insects come from. The world of hungry ghosts. Yeah, I thought that was cool. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I want to read that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Jeremy calls his parents because it's his birthday. So he gives his parents a call. He's missing them. He goes into town, uses the phone. He has talked to them since the incident with Bowada. Okay. And they ask if he's still sleeping in the farmhouse and, after Bowada tore up his bed. And he says that was only for a few days. They have nothing to worry about. It's just a house cat that's gone a bit freaky. Yes, it's killed a chicken a night, but we don't need to worry about that. For his birthday, Sarah brings up some wine. July 30th is the next journal entry. That's 15 days later. And this journal entry begins with, well, Bowada is dead. This time for sure. So he says, here's how it happened. He and Sar, after dinner, they go into the tool shed to build some shelves, and Deborah goes to bed early. Jeremy says she's been doing that a lot lately, going to bed early. She's getting tired early, and Sar suspects it's something in the well water. It's getting dark, and suddenly they hear Deborah scream. They run upstairs, and her door is locked. She tells Sar she'll unlock it in a minute. Her voice is hoarse. And he says it's almost like croaking. Jeremy assumes she's finding a robe to put on. And when she finally opens the door, she's completely white. Her hair's a mess. And there's a towel wrapped around her neck with blood soaking through it. Jeremy runs to get some bandages. And when he returns, Deborah's in bed. And Sarah points to Bowada's crumpled body on the floor. And there's a gaping wound in her side. And there's an old umbrella lying next to her, which is obviously the weapon that Deborah used to stab her with. That's a nice, pleasant scene that he just walked into.
That's real nice.
She said she was sleeping and felt something crawl onto her face. And when she awoke, the cat dug it and dug her nails into her. She managed to tear it off and then go for the first thing she found for a weapon. And as she raised it, the cat must have jumped and impaled itself. Suicide on Bowada's part? We don't know. But but it reminds me of like the way they killed the bear in The Edge. He has like a spear and he waits for the bear to rear up and he kind of makes it impale itself. I don't know if you remember that.
This doesn't feel south, Charles.
Right. Right. Find a small stone, spit under it. I love all those little things that he comes up with, all these little...
How are we going to lure him, Charles?
Get on with it! Get on with it!
So Deborah removes the blood-soaked towel. Thank God her wounds aren't too bad. Bowada, on the other hand, is a different story. It seems that Deborah managed to stab her right in the old wound that she had and reopened it. Although, like before, the skin seems to have opened outward. So remember, her wound was, it looked like something had escaped from her body. Jeremy surmises that Bowata probably wasn't used to feeding herself and was probably weakened, which is how Deborah was able to overpower her. After all, he says Bowata didn't eat any of the chickens she killed. She just killed them, and that was it. They help Deborah downstairs. Her voice is still extremely hoarse. They tell her, don't talk. They put Bowata's body in the freezer in order to preserve it until they can get a vet out there to test for rabies. In the meantime, Sar goes to consult some medical books. As he's doing this, Jeremy notices that Deborah's on the couch and she's staring at her husband, quote, with a look of purest gratitude, not moving, not saying anything, not even blinking, end quote. July 31st, the next day, the doctor comes and he grabs some samples from Bowata's teeth, but he scolds them for not preserving the body well enough. He says he should have put it in the freezer sooner because it was already starting to decompose. Jeremy's like, must be the dampness, I guess. You know, why is this thing already decomposing? It's weird. They bury Bowata with a funeral. Deborah is still stiff and weak and having trouble walking. Sar tells Jeremy he's concerned about her. He feels there's something wrong with Deborah that the doctor overlooked. The entry ends with a note saying that Jeremy opened the freezer and it still smells pretty strong of decay. So that's gross. It smells like decaying cat in their freezer. Who wants chicken cutlets tonight? August 1st, Jeremy tells us he's writing this entry early in the morning. He says he just finished writing the previous night's entry and gone to sleep when he was awakened by sounds in the woods. He describes it as, quote, if toads could talk, end quote. So he consults the glass harmonica again, and sure enough, it says July 31st, Lammas Eve, Sabbath's likely. He's about to continue writing when he breaks off and tells us he just had a hell of a shock. He heard a sound on the floor like the drumming of nervous fingers. And when he looked down, he saw it was a huge spider inches from his ankle. He says, when you can actually hear a spider's footsteps, it's time to keep your socks on. And I wrote, no, it's time to burn the place to the fucking ground.
Yeah, you're not having it.
No, not at all.
You hate some spider action.
Yeah, I hate me some spiders.
That's a lot.
Yeah, to hear that thing like, it's probably that.
That sounded exactly like a spider wearing little tiny Chuck Taylors running around.
So he continues and he says he's playing a little game with himself. He calls it the what if game. That must be a fun thing to play in this environment.
Yeah, really.
It basically just consists of him imagining horrific scenarios. He says, like, what if his building is sinking into quicksand? And then he says, what if the Poroths are tired of me? What if I woke up inside my own coffin? What if I never see New York again? What if some horror stories aren't really fiction? If Machen sometimes told the truth? If there are white people, malevolent little faces peering out of the moonlight, whispers in the grass, poisonous things in the woods, perfect hate and evil in the world.
That's crazy.
Good night, Jeremy. You done?
Yeah, that's a terrible game to play.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah, right. Alone. Absolutely. Okay, the next entry is August 9th. It's a fairly uneventful day. He's bored and he goes for a walk, but he quits early. The mildew and the ivy are really creeping up now, and he can't muster the energy to clean them up. He rationalizes that the place looks more artistic covered in ivy anyway. I could probably agree with that. That probably looks pretty cool, this little chicken coop that he lives in, and it's covered in ivy. That must look pretty cool.
Sure.
Dinner's not that good. Up until now, it's been delicious, except for when Sar cooks. But this time it was Deborah cooking, and the food was underdone, and it was cold. And after dinner, Sar begins mumbling prayers to himself. Jeremy says he's been doing this quite a bit lately. His religiosity is really showing these days.
Yeah.
Deborah, on the other hand, Sar's doing that. Jeremy offers to do the dishes. Deborah just goes to watch TV. As he's writing this, he says he's been listening to the radio, but he can hear strange sounds, so he turns the radio off, and he flicks on the light, and he realizes his entire room is filled with crickets. And he's wondering how the hell they got in here.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's the gacky again.
Gacky.
Yeah. I'm going to take a sip, excuse me. That's some field haze. How's yours, by the way? How's your bush light?
It's a beer.
Okay. It's a beer.
it's fine. It's just not my favorite at all.
Yeah,
I don't care for it.
Okay.
Sorry. I get angry. I bought 12 of these. Dick.
You like brats?
Love them.
All right. You can use that to boil some bratwurst. How about that?
Well, that's true.
You can use it for that.
Oh, man. I'll make some chili with it.
There you go.
Make some chili when it's 94 degrees and steamy outside.
That's right.
Hot bowl of chili.
It's awesome. You need some varnish taken off your table or something, you can always use that. Yep. Okay, so August 14th, Jeremy reads Supernatural Horror in Literature, an essay by H.P. Lovecraft. This is a survey of horror fiction up until the time Lovecraft was writing it. It's a great essay. If you ever have the time to invest in this essay, it's a long one, but it is great, and it just makes you feel like, man, I haven't read anything in my life when you read this, because Lovecraft was pretty well read, and he's basically just talking about all this really cool supernatural fiction from pre-Poe all the way to the 1920s when he was writing it. So it's really cool.
Cool.
So Jeremy plays with Felix, the cat, in the morning, and when he goes back to his rooms, he finds that his books are all out of order. Remember that he suspects that it's Deborah, maybe, coming into his room and fucking up his shit, looking through his journal, rummaging through his drawers. That night, dinner, once again, is tasteless. And what's more, Deborah has been peppering them with questions about current events. Not peppering the dinner, peppering Jeremy and Sar with questions about current events. And it's pissing the hell out of Sar. For some reason, she's like really interested in current events. She's like monomaniacal. And Sar's getting pretty pissed. Things are obviously not going well between these two. And Deborah used to be all like lovey-dovey with Sar, asking him to carry her upstairs when she was tired and shit like that. Now Sar just gets pissed and he goes off to pray. So Jeremy goes back to his room and he reads The Possessors. This is a novel by John Christopher. That is a pseudonym for another author, and I can't remember the guy's name. But this novel is about an alien life form that kills a child and possesses his body. And this entity now goes on to infect others that are trapped in a ski lodge together. Almost like the Thing, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So our next journal entry is August 19th. This is 5 days later. Jeremy sleeps in, and then he decides to take a walk down to the brook. And there, he finds Deborah kneeling by the water. She seems as though she's daydreaming, and she's talking to herself. He kind of like springs on her, and they have like a little bit of awkward conversation, and then she goes back to the house. Meanwhile, he remains by the water, just throwing blades of grass into it and stuff like that. And then while he's standing there, he looks over at the farmhouse, and there's an interesting moment here. Klein writes this really well. The farmhouse, when Jeremy looks over, it doesn't look real at this distance. It looks more like a picture hanging at the far end of a room, and like the grass in between him and the house would be the floor and the sky would be the ceiling. It's a really cool thing, and it's like, I read it as like nature is just becoming unreal now. Like he's just completely disconnecting from reality while staying here. It's just a place that is located outside of time and space or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Exactly how it sounds.
Yeah. So he sees Deborah stroking a cat, and the cat struggles out of her arms, and she seems to grow angry and storms into the house after that. He looks around at this point and finds that everything now seems fake to him. Everything from the maple trees up to the sky looks like the work of a crappy artist, he says. It's like, things are just really like bad brushstrokes.
That'd be a horrible feeling.
Right? Yeah. He says what do you say?
Reality is just shifting.
Yeah. And he says it almost looks like a cheap postcard,
Yeah.
Like just this. So after lunch, he lies on the grass playing a little word game with himself. He's doing this quite a bit these days, it seems. He starts off by noticing the shrill twitter of the birds. And then he says, I would say the birds singing in the sun. And inexorably, I'd continue with the sun dying in the moonlight falling on the floor sagging to the cellar filling with water, the water seeping into the ground twisting into smoke, the smoke staining the sky burning in the sun dying in the moonlight falling on the floor, and so on. And he says, melancholy progressions that held my mind like a whirlpool.
Man.
Yeah, it's really cool. And just his subconscious is telling him things are not right now, dude. You know,
when I read that paragraph, I instantly thought of a story by William Burroughs called Apocalypse.
Okay.
It reads like that. Madness going on in New York City. Power cables like crackling and whipping all over the place, and subway cars slamming into each other, and everything just becoming this chaotic mix of paint and color swirling around, is what he says. And
that's crazy.
I'm not doing it any justice, but if you ever read Apocalypse, it's not long, but it's great. It's really good. Yeah. And there's actually, if you want to skip it, you can listen to him read it.
Oh, okay.
It's called Dead City Radio, is a record of his stuff, and it's on there, and it's incredible.
Cool.
Apocalypse.
Jeremy falls asleep in the grass, and he's awakened by Sar, who tells him it's dinner time now. So on the way back, Sar confides in him that earlier in the day, he came across Deborah bending over Jeremy and peering into his face as he slept. That's not creepy at all. No. And he says her eyes were wide, like Boada's.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not creepy at all. Dinner that night is extremely awkward. No one's talking to each other. The meal itself sucks again. Dessert, however, is a delicious chocolate mousse. And Deborah doesn't take any for herself. She just gives it to Sar and Jeremy, and she says, I'm trying to watch my weight. And at this, Sar flips the fuck out. He screams, then we'll not eat any. And he grabs his and Jeremy's bowl and he throws them both against the wall.
Nice. Yep.
Now it's garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen The Odd Couple.
Yes.
Okay. I can't do math out. Now it's garbage.
That's pretty good.
So not bad. I had to work on it.
That's pretty good.
So he does that. And Sar then composes himself and he apologizes to Jeremy. He says he and his wife are going to pray extra hard for each other that night. Jeremy's like, so Deborah, you're okay? And she nods, and then she says things will work out. And at this, Sar just bursts into laughter. I thought that was great. He's like, yeah, right. Things are going to work out.
Yeah, I think so.
So Jeremy gets back to his room. He looks into the mirror and he's startled by what he sees. He looks like an old, unkempt man. He's flabby, he's dirty, his teeth are yellow. He thinks about the alterations in Sar's behavior and decides then and there he's going to just leave. He's going to start packing his shit and he's going to get the hell out of there.
Time to go.
Yeah. Now, August 20th, 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's just about done packing. He says the first thing he saw upon awakening was a big, fat-ass garden spider on his window screen. He says it had dined well all summer. And then he concludes that, quote, nothing so big and fearsome has a right to live, end quote. And he douses it with insecticide by holding the can right up to the screen and blasting away. This is my kind of guy.
Yeah, you can relate.
I love that, though. Nothing so big and fearsome has a right to live.
Yep.
So he says he's going to wait for the Poroths. I got to interrupt myself for a second. I keep saying Poroth. Is it Poroth? Poroth? I don't know how to pronounce it.
It depends on your pronunciation. I mean, I say Poroth.
Poroth. Okay, I'm going to try to say Poroth. I've been saying Poroth.
It could be because of, where we're both from.
Right. Yeah,
say it different ways.
That's true. I do tend to say horror as in horror.
When you guys did that little recording, you and Kim?
Yes.
She said horror in a really interesting way, and Jen and I both heard it instantly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was like horror.
Okay, yeah.
It was really
like
cool. It was like, that's got to be regional.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. Cool. It's so funny. Okay. All right, cool. Now I haven't noticed it.
Well, you wouldn't because you're there. Just like when I say windows and stuff like that, like some backwoods idiot.
Well, I do try to watch the accent sometimes because I can definitely slip. And I have been.
No, you should own it. I mean, it's cool, man. You're from where you're from.
My sister, obviously, is from here. She moved down to North Carolina and was teaching down there. And she was talking about where she's from and stuff like that. And one of the students said, you talk like Jerry Seinfeld.
Right? Why do people wear suspenders?
Whatever. That was Gilbert Gottfried. Why do people wear belts? Do they think it's going to hold up their pants or something?
Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I was going to say something and I'm so stupid.
Sorry, I sub-referenced us right
I,
into the ground. Sorry.
I forgot. I guarantee it was a rambling,
rambling mess.
Unimportant piece of shit anyway.
So, horror. Okay. Short horror. Okay.
Yeah, it was almost like she said har.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't either. It wasn't har. It was like, it was really cool though. It was like.
It was horror.
You know, regional stuff makes me. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I remember.
Okay.
And it is not important at all, but I'm going to say it now because I remembered it. My buddy Ben is from Boston, and he doesn't sound like the stereotype. You hit a cop. You're going in.
Right.
You know, he didn't talk like that at all. I would never guess he was from Boston. He talks, just normally. Normally. Like, I don't know what that means, but what the fuck am I trying to say? He doesn't sound like he's from Boston. He could be from anywhere.
Okay.
So, yay. Good story. What the fuck? God damn it. I don't know why I.
All right, well, let me counter with this. I have a guilty pleasure. I love police interrogations. They're just fascinating to me.
Oh, really?
Just the back and forth cat and mouse stuff is just really cool to me. And there was one, he was called the Craigslist Killer. His name was Philip Markoff, and he was like booking dates with women, and then he robbed them when they got to a hotel or something. And then one time a girl tried to fight back and he shot her. So it's in Boston, and the cop is just so funny talking to him because he's like, so we got you on video. I can't even do the accent, but he's like walking through a lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Walking through a lobby, and then he says, so what do you do then, normally with your time? And he says, well, I go to school, I'm a medical student. And the guy goes, all right, so your balls deep in the books? It's just funny the way he said that.
That's good.
All right, so your balls deep. I don't know why that was funny.
That's good. What is it about interrogations you like so much? Just watching people break?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. I don't know. It's a weird
or
little,
not break and just ride it out.
I think that's what it is. It's one because a lot of them are boring, but there are certain ones that are just really intriguing, especially if you know that the guy's really fucking guilty and he's just trying to hide it and he's doing a really bad job of it. And the way they kind of break him by just using different techniques, it's not exactly the most ethical practice. They'll lie to them and they won't promise them things, but they will lead them to believe that they're on their side. For instance, it's like, a guy killed his wife and it'll be like, we've all been in situations where, the wife our wives kind of, really push us to the edge. Yeah. They really push us to the edge. And, I can totally understand you snapping.
I'm with you, man. I get it.
Yeah, right. And then,
I might even do it myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what?
Right. Yeah, they say stuff like that. And just to see the suspect, like,
let their
really
guard down and get loose and then say something really crazy. And they're like,
just trying to like circumvent that. I don't know. It's like this weird back and forth thing. I don't know what it is. I really don't know.
That's pretty cool. Do you know who Tom Segura is?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he had a funny bit in one of his earlier stand-ups where I don't remember what this program was that he was talking about, but a guy was being interrogated and he says, we're pretty sure you committed this crime. And the guy's like, no, I didn't. He said, we have a video of you wearing a blue t-shirt that matches the description of the suspect. He goes, yeah, I stabbed those 8 people. He's like, whoa, you're not even gonna hold out, man? You're just gonna give up? Okay.
Right.
Something like that.
Yep. So we digress.
So your balls deep in the books as well.
Yeah.
So Jeremy's done packing. He says he's going to wait till the Poroths are up. That's how this thing started. He's going to wait until the Poroths are up and awake before springing the news on them. He can see that they're not up yet. That's odd. They're usually kind of early risers. He says he'll give him another half hour, and then if he just can't wait any longer, he'll just go on in and tell them. And this is where his journal ends. Okay, and now Jeremy is right back where we found him at the opening of the story at this hotel in Flemington a week later. And he finally feels safe enough to write down what happened next. And he says the first thing he noticed as he approached the house was that every shade in the place was drawn, even in the kitchen.
Throughout my 30 years, I have come to associate drawn shades with a foul smell. The smell of a sick room, of shamefaced poverty, and food gone bad, of people lying too long beneath blankets. But I was not ready for the stench of decay that met me when I opened the kitchen door and stepped into the darkness. Something had died in that room, and not recently.
End motherfucking quote. Yeah.
Ick.
So, yeah, ick indeed.
God, I hate that fucking smell.
Stephen King made some great mileage with that one.
Yeah, I say that as if it's shocking that I don't like that smell. So,
Can
you believe it? I don't like that smell.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? It's, I don't know what it is. I just don't.
All right. Whatever, dude. Whatever.
Okay, weirdo.
But I love this little list that he gives us. The smell of a sick room of shame-faced poverty. I thought that was really cool.
That's a lot.
I'm sorry. He says he associates drawn shades with a foul smell. The smell of a sick room of shame-faced poverty. Those things. That's drawn shades.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's really cool.
I think we talked about Jacob's Ladder before. The two of us both are
yes, of course,
pretty affected by that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I picture drawn shades like that has a horror on the other side of death and decay.
Yeah.
Of the light in that movie during his nightmares of everything's a yellowy, gross tint.
Yeah, right.
Everything's like this weird ambery, like ugly yellow.
Yeah.
All the time. So,
right.
Those shades that pulled on, they just look like smoke stained and yellowish and gross.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what I picture.
Do you know what the scariest part of that movie was for me? There's two scenes. One when he's at the party and the chick is reading his palm and she's like, "This is your lifeline." And she's like, "Oh, according to this, you're dead." And she starts laughing. And I swear to God, her eyes are completely black for a half a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I saw that.
Yeah. And it's like, and then later on when
I'm curious if you're about to say what I'm thinking.
Okay. Later on, it is that thing with his wife, his true love wife, that nice, cool blue stuff. But all of a sudden you hear a voice go, "Dream on," like that. It's like a demonic voice go, "Dream on."
Oh, and that's great. That is not what I was thinking, but that's awesome.
Yeah, that fucking sent chills down my spine.
That's actually probably better than what I'm thinking. This was like a gross. There were two things like this. There was he was on the subway, and like they always do in films, the lights are going on and off through the subway. Yeah. And something goes like sliming underneath that homeless guy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like underneath his coat, like he had some weird tentacle appendage that like tucked in.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he was in a hospital waiting room or something, and the nurse is giving him all this shit, and she's just this bitchy old lady, and she's yelling at him and giving him static, and her hat slips off, and there's a crazy growth on the top of her head.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, it's awful. And she throws it back on real quick, like, you didn't see that,
That's right.
And he takes off, and she's like, "Get back here," screaming at him.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I want to leave the theater. I can't take much more of this. This is terrible, man.
I wanted to leave my living room. I saw that in the comfort of my own home, and it fucking scared the Jesus out of me.
It's a fucking great movie, man.
Yeah.
So good.
It really is good.
I won't watch it again for years and years and years. It's too much.
Oh, my God. Same thing. Same way. Yeah. I can't do it.
I just saw the devil. He stabbed me right in the back with his pitchfork. He had flame coming out of his nose. He had a big lung.
So where am I? Yes. So, so Jeremy goes into this room, and it's pretty gross. And immediately the four remaining cats, scramble past him and out of the house. And then Jeremy notices something else. He says, by the other wall, a lump of shadow moved. Turns out it's Sar, and he's not looking too good. He's all pale. And he says, "I thought you were still asleep." And his voice is a whisper. So he's like, "I thought you were still asleep." Jeremy's about to turn on the light when Sar protests. But he needs sunlight in there, so he just opens the shade just a little bit in order to shed a tiny bit of light. And that light happens to fall upon a heap on the floor. And yep, that's Deborah down there. Her throat is torn. He describes the flesh as wrinkled like the skin of an old apple. She looks as though she's been dead for a long time. Her eyes are sunken into black sockets. Sar walks toward him with a steady, unblinking gaze. And he's smiling. He says, "I'll make you understand." And then he says, "I had to kill her."
Yeah.
So he says that Deborah tried to kill him. He said, the same thing that possessed Bowada possessed her. Jeremy mentions the wound on her throat, and Sar says that was Barada. It's a nice cream-filled cheese appetizer. It was that burrata I ate on my charcuterie plate. Anyway, oh God. All right, let me try this again.
Mm-hmm. Before you do, when he says, I'll make you understand.
Yeah.
Instantly, just because it's the way my idiot mind works, I jumped to a scene in a movie, and it's Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis's character is crazy, and he looks at a guy, I think he's an Irish immigrant or something. He says, you see this knife? I'm going to teach you to speak English with this knife. And I was like, oh, shit. That is crazy. That is
right.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's rough. And that's what I thought of when he said, I'll make you understand. You know?
Do you know what I do all the time? It's so dumb, but I don't know.
What?
I can't even tell you, like, when I do it, I just do it from time to time. Oopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Oopsie daisy.
Yep. That's good.
Whoopsie daisy!
Speaking of knives, he says the same thing that possessed Bowada possessed Deborah. And Jeremy mentions the wound on her throat, and Sar says, that was Bowada, not me. I had nothing to do with that. He says, she tried to stab me with a bread knife. And then he bends down and starts feeling around the floor for it. He's like, where is that thing? And that's when Jeremy sees it sticking out of his back. So Jeremy gasps, and then Sar realizes what he's reacting to, and he grins in embarrassment and says, oh yeah. That's it.
That's a nasty knife to get stabbed with. That's like it's not a sharp thing, it's a serrated. Crazy.
Yeah.
That would be an awful wound. I'd be like, ew. Ugh,
and a lot of them have that like pronged end too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I love this too. He's like, oh yeah. And he spends some moments fumbling around trying to reach it. It's in an unreachable spot. Mm-hmm. So he's like trying to get this thing, like trying to scratch an itch on your back.
Exactly.
He's trying to grab that knife. And then he thrusts his face into Jeremy's face, and his eyes are wide. And he says, it's easy for us to forget things. And then he offers another piece of information on the heels of that. And Jeremy holds it back from us. And he says, it's pretty much what caused him to sprint the hell out of there with Sar in pursuit. Okay, so Sar went up to him and said, it's easy for us to forget things, and then said something else. We don't know what yet, but whatever he said just ignited every hair on Jeremy's body and fueled his limbs for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's running like crazy. Sar is in pursuit. Sar's like the Terminator. he's like running after him. Like Jeremy keeps looking back, and Sar isn't even winded. He's just moving. Yeah,
he spends his life chopping wood and living that crazy life. And
I guess,
he's like, his heart is like a racehorse.
Right. So Jeremy veers off into the woods. He manages to shake off Sar, but then he surmises it's probably due to the inexperience of whatever is controlling Sar Poroth now. But as he rounds a bend, he sees Sar again, and Sar is now laughing as he chases him. Yeah, that's cool.
That's not good.
He loses him for good, finally, and he arrives in Gilead, and he's a fucking mess at this point. And he says he can only attribute his escape pretty much to luck. However, he says there's something beyond luck that kept him running. Sar had said it's easy for us to forget things, and now he reveals what came next, and this is the thing that actually caused him to run and never stop running. Quote, I had been impelled by an almost ecstatic sense of dread produced by his last words to me, that last communication from an alien face smiling inches from my own, which I chose to take as his final warning. Sometimes we forget to blink. End quote. Yeah, so let's recap. Sometimes we forget to blink. Yeah, so God knows what the hell took over him, what took over Bowada, what took over his wife. But so now we get the culmination of this thing. It's that wonderful, wonderful, uncanny valley. You know?
Yep.
It's just, this thing is human almost.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that's so
and
frightening.
It's kind of Legion. That's we.
Yeah, right. We.
You know?
Yeah, sometimes we forget to blink. And it's so like you think about the cat not blinking until Jeremy says something and then it blinks like heavily, like, oh yeah, here's a blink for you. You know?
Yep. He's like, oh yeah, I should blink, I guess.
Yep. Deborah is staring at Sar. She's not blinking. Apparently she was staring wide-eyed at Jeremy, probably not blinking the whole time while he was sleeping. She's standing over him, just staring at him. Ugh.
Yeah.
So that was Jeremy's experience on Poroth Farm. He says you can read the rest in the local newspaper. He says the reporter who wrote it up in the local paper wrote it up as a story of loneliness, religious mania, and a mysteriously tainted well. He says they found traces of insecticide in the water. This makes sense. Jeremy was spraying that shit willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
He says another paper wrote up the story as a love triangle involving Jeremy, which ended in Sar murdering his wife in a fit of jealousy. Jeremy says he's past caring about what anyone thinks of him. He's too haunted by what he saw when he returned to the farm with the police later on, including, but not limited to, Deborah's half-buried corpse protruding from a hastily dug grave in the cornfield. When he returned to his ivory-covered outbuilding, there was a bread knife stuck into the door, so far that it was protruding from the other side, and of course the blood on it was Sar's. Inside his rooms, the journal was intact because it was hidden, but the rest of the room was completely trashed. All the books were slashed up. And Jeremy says at the time of this writing, neither Sar nor his corpse, for that matter, have been found. So Jeremy believes that his journal provides a pretty clear account of the events. Nevertheless, the police aren't buying the story. They're not buying his theory of possession. They're ignoring it out of embarrassment, probably. One public official believes he's guilty of murder, and therefore he's not allowed to leave town. So he says they say it was the heat, the bugs, the oppressive loneliness, all that stuff caused him to flip his shit. He says the worst part of this whole thing, though, is not being able to run away. He's got to remain here in this hotel. He says forever prey to whatever the thing that was Sar Poroth has now become. The thing that was once a cat, and once a woman, and once, what, a large white moth, a serpent, a shrew-like thing with wicked teeth, a police chief, a president, a boy with eyes of blood that sits beneath my window. Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah. This like entity that's taken people over, and it can be anyone. You know, anything and anyone.
Yeah.
He's convinced that he knows what started this whole thing and what unleashed the evil on the farm. He says it was that night he made those strange gestures in the tree. The night the crickets skipped a beat. We talked about this. I'd cut it out, but we talked about how, like, what actually happened here.
Yeah.
I think we're both in agreement now that he was just in this strange place. And, you know, you go to, like, a remote location and there's nothing around, nobody around, and you're like, I'm just gonna like revert to my primordial self here. You know, I'm not even talking. I can't even express anything in words. I'm just gonna use gestures. It's like what the ancients must have done, just genuflecting before nature.
Yeah.
That's how I'm reading it. By doing that, he just called down this thing, whatever it is. Now he's haunted by scraps of things that he's read. He says the myth of Pandora being one of them. And something he says about, quote, a tiny rent in the fabric of the universe, end quote. One just big enough to let something in that has its own obscure purpose. Now, I can't find that reference. That concept, obviously, is out there. A rent in the fabric of the universe. But quoting it like that, I don't know. I think that's just pure T.E.D. Klein, the way he just threw that in there.
Yeah. The thing I liked is the way he phrased it. It wasn't with some malevolent purpose. It was just obscure. You would think it came here with a mission to squish us all and take over, but I mean, I guess that still could be it, but he just made it obscure instead.
Yeah, that's a big cosmic horror thing, is to say that, like,
it is.
You can't possibly understand what these things want. You know, we're ants to them.
Yeah, it's like you said before, the things you can't imagine because it would bend your brain.
You
can't vision them because there's no way.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And for all we know, they can just be having fun. This is their way of having fun.
This is their magnifying glass,
100% right. So Jeremy looks out the window. He can see the boy with the red spectacles. He hasn't moved, and he wonders if the eyes beneath those glasses remembered to blink. The heat in the room now is getting to him. He says the sweat is dripping and smearing the ink. He says, I think it's finally time to end this affidavit, but he gives us a parting shot.
Yeah.
If, as I now believe possible, I inadvertently called down evil from the sky and began the events at Poroth Farm, my death will be only fitting. And after my death, many more. We are all, I'm afraid, in danger. Please, then, forgive this prophet of doom, old at 30, as last Jeremiah. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved.
That's my favorite part of this whole thing. The harvest is past, the summer's ended, and we are not saved.
And we are not saved.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That is insane. I love it a lot.
So that is from Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah 8:20. The
Great.
harvest is past. Yeah, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Yeah.
Well, you got a King James right next to you?
That's the new international version. Christopher Hitchens said the King James Bible is the best Bible ever written by a committee.
Yeah.
All right, the King James Bible is the same. The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Oh, I love it. It's so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently Hemingway used to go through the Bible looking for titles.
I bet.
It's full of some good stuff. I'm a proponent of just knowing your standard Bible quotes here and there, just so you can, you can get literary references when people make them, because so many people make them.
Yeah, I never really fell in hard and understood or bothered to read the entire Bible. I wasn't interested.
I don't think I've read the entire thing, definitely not. No. But I read a fair bit. There's some fun stuff in there.
Yeah, good times.
Winston Churchill told the story about a friend of his who never read the Bible, so he lent him a Bible, and he just heard it while he was reading it. He heard the guy go, "God is God a shit." It's like reading the Old Testament, good. Where it's like the worst shit ever going on in the Old Testament.
Yeah,
pretty nasty things in the New Testament too, but the Old Testament is just full of all the anything that you want to point to that says, "Here's why religion sucks," and you can point to the Old Testament and find something in there. There's a justification for every horrible thing that humanity's ever done in that Old Testament, for sure.
Mm-hmm. But, I remember seeing Lewis Black talk about it. He said, "I'm a Jew, and we read from the Old Testament."
Right.
And, Catholics like to read this kind of flowery version of what I had to read, because our God was a fucking prick. He went on about it. It's just rough.
The Gnostics believed that there was actually two gods, that the God of the Old Testament and the God in the New Testament are two different gods. And Jesus is actually the son of the newer one.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. Okay, I'm giving up my son to pay the ransom for humanity. I can buy humanity back from this old God. If I was a believer, I'd probably subscribe to that.
That's the first time I've heard that, and it clicked right in place. Sounds right.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. But Lewis Black said that thing about there's a piece of music called Kol Nidre. It's a prayer. It's a piece of music that is sung on Yom Kippur, and he says, "It's the spookiest piece of music you'll ever hear in your life." He goes, "You would not be surprised if bats and shit weren't flying around the temple." Bats and shit.
Moving those crazy hands of his around, those crazy fingers. Love it.
Well, that was the events at Poroth Farm. How's your bush light?
Yeah. It's bush light. It's, it's what it is.
It is what it is.
If anyone nearby needs a beer, I have 11 beers for you if you want them. I'm not drinking them. I'll call them guest beers.
Yeah, okay. Guest beers is good. All right.
Yeah. But I appreciate what they're doing for the farmers. That part is noble and super cool.
Absolutely. Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. How was your beer?
It was wonderful. I still got a little left here. It's the old Long Island Farm Brewery Field Haze Double IPA. I'm sorry, Hazy IPA. Is it hazy or double?
Maybe it's double hazy.
Oh, it might be.
Oh my God. I'm not ready.
Oh, it's a hazy IPA. Yeah, hazy IPA.
Okay.
And it was 6% ABV, and it's doing its thing. It's wonderful. So there.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Now, this is technically the end of season 2. Can you believe it? Oh, it's crazy, right?
God.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did we get here, Paul? How have we gotten this far?
Seriously, I have no idea.
Look at what we've created. Look at this.
Yeah, right?
The fuck?
I'm sitting here drinking Busch Light, for Christ's sake. Look what we've done.
That's where I landed at the end of season 2 is a fucking bush.
It's fitting. It's a good. Well, I remember I started season 1 with Budweiser, so we ended season 2 with Busch Light. It's all good.
Okay, so the end of season 2. What does that mean for us?
That means absolutely nothing. It means that we're going to start season. It means that we're going to start season 3 soon, but the numbering of the episodes is going to continue as if there wasn't any seasons at all. Like I said, it just helps me mentally just to break it up into seasons like this. So it's like 10 episodes or so per season. So don't you want to know what we're going to do next, or what we're going to start season 3 with?
I'm dying to know. I have to know.
It's a little story called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Oh.
Yeah. By the great Harlan Ellison. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Those
good.
hens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I became Mr. Burns just now.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yep. So that's what we're going to kick off season 3 with a cheery little tale. So we started with the music of Eric Zahn by H.P. Lovecraft. We moved on to Cool Air by H.P. Lovecraft. Then we went to The Facts in the Case of Monsieur Valdemar by Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
We did Free Dirt by Charles Beaumont, then Free Dirt by Ray Bradbury, then The Emissary by Ray Bradbury. We followed that with Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson. And then we did Graveyard Shift by Steve King, I think was his name. And then we did The Events at Poroth Farm by T.E.D. Klein. So do you have a favorite? I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's probably The Emissary. Not because of the horror part was the best horror. It wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
But the entire story had such beautiful imagery that I just couldn't get through it without going, holy shit, every other paragraph.
I think I have to say the same thing. I think it is the best story out of all of them. Sure.
Yeah, it was a close call between that and the music of Eric Zahn.
That was a great one. Yeah, I love that story. So sure. I think I'm with you there. I have a soft spot for Dance of the Dead too, because Matheson's great. But yeah, I
he
think,
is great. Yeah,
yeah. But I think The Emissary and music of Eric Zahn both. I think that was our 2 shining spots of season 2.
Yeah, when you've got a guy playing a viola, while he's dead.
Yeah.
Frantically and wild, and there's lightning and vortexes going on. And that to me was like, this is fucking fantastic. That was exciting. But, The Emissary just made me go, I wish I was a kid again and it was fall.
Right.
I just really did. I was like painting these heartbreaking, beautiful things. Really moving, really great.
If a guy can write poetry and involve a can of ham, it's like
right.
That's a guy I want to sit down with.
Yeah, man, this was good.
Yes,
like I said, the ending of this one really blew my hair back.
Yeah, me too. Great stuff.
Good
one.
So
there you have it. Yes, indeed. So we will see you next time. We'll see you for season 3 with my friend Harlan Ellison.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited about that too.
Yeah, me too. All right, my man Godfrey.
All right, bro.
We'll see you next time, buddy.
You sure will. Have a good one.
Be good.